In what we are going to dwell in today is one, our agenda for today's webinar is Introduction to Cyber Cloud Platform Limited, Understanding the Basics of Web Hosting, Overview of Hosting Plans and Features, Customer Support Channels and Ticketing System, Security, Scalability, and Support in Web Hosting. Then overview of Cyber Cloud Host products. So to start with, who are we or who is Cyber Cloud? Cyber Cloud is a local cloud provider in Nigeria. The company has been in existence for the past 6 years, building, maintaining cloud infrastructure to provide similar services you get from companies like AWS and Azure. This includes infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service, backup solutions, co-location services, and we are also in good partnership with some OEMs, major OEMs, the likes of Cisco, Microsoft, FortiGate, Adobe. So with this partnership, we sell their licenses at a very competitive price. So we have numerous customers in our platform, ranging from financial institutions to small scale businesses and even uh, uh, individuals who want to have any of these services. As in, any person can walk up to us and say, okay, I want you to provide me something like voice solution, or give me a virtual private server, or give me an SDDC. So our service cuts across all strata of businesses. So Cyber Cloud Host is one of the products of Cyber Cloud. It's a hosting platform that enables businesses to be visible online. So we have so many customers riding on Cyber Cloud Host today, and they are very much stable. We provide all the basic features that every hosting company can provide to its customers. And for some seasoned webmasters or web developers, there are basic things you look out for before you can choose a particular hosting company for your services. This includes speed, reliability, and the support and as well stability of the platform. So these have been tested over time, and we are actually satisfying all our existing customers. So what we promise our customers is to deliver reliable, secure, and scalable web hosting solutions. We also have support team that are always at your beck and call to listen to all your concerns and ensure that you are working efficiently at each point in time. Then in the course of this webinar, we are going to see all the features of our support and other things that you stand to gain when you are onboarded in Cyber Cloud platform. So our commitment includes reliable uptime, exceptional customer service, and the use of cutting-edge technology for all our businesses. We serve all our customers and ensure that we listen to all their complaints and support them the much we can. What is web hosting? This is a very simple question anybody can ask. So in a simple sentence, the web hosting means renting a space in a web hosting environment or in a cloud environment and making sure that your business becomes visible through that platform. So that space is where you put all your files. Your files could be videos, it could be text, it could be anything that will enable your visitors to actually reach out to you. So the next one thing about web hosting is you need a domain name. Domain name is like an address that somebody can use to reach out to you. So in this context, a domain name could be julius.com or julius.ng or julius.org. So all those .com, .org are called TLDs. So these, with with the domain name and the hosting plan, you are able to make your business to be visible online. So web hosting means combination of designing your website and then buying a domain name and ensuring that people actually reach out to you through that platform. So there are different types of hosting. This includes shared hosting. In shared hosting, what it means is that I have like 4 or 5 people that are hosting with me and I put them in the same server. This server, all of them will be using the same resources like RAM, CPU, and storage. Everything that is installed in that server will be shared among those people. So it has its merits and demerits. Let me say that one of the merits is that it is cost effective. So it's usually the entry point for most people that are bringing their businesses online. People that are on a tight schedule, financial schedule or something like that. You don't have enough money to invest, but you just want to be online. So you can opt for this shared hosting because it's usually cheap. But one of the demerits is that if some other person is using the resources more than required, it might affect other users or other people that are hosted in that shared hosting. Then we also have virtual private servers, VPS. So VPS is, just as the name is, virtual. It also resides in the environment as a virtual machine. So virtualization means we have a high-end server with enhanced storage, memory, and CPU. So we now have another software that we call hypervisor. So this hypervisor is what you use, install on that server to make it in such a way that you can divide the resources that are installed on this server into small chunks to provide small servers for each person that needs it. So this VPS is, for instance, I don't want to have a shared hosting. I want to have my own server all by myself, but I don't want to buy an entire bare metal machine. So what I will now do is I request for VPS. Based on the request, say, okay, I need 8-core CPU. I need a 16 gig RAM. I need 50 gig storage. Once you give it to a cloud hosting company like us, what we do is we quickly build that server, put all the security settings. And if you want to use it to host your business, we now give you access and every other thing that is needed for you to be able to host all your files on the server. So that is VPS, virtual private servers. So just as the name is, it is private. You are the only one that is in that server or that is using that server. All the resources that have been allocated to server will be for you and you alone. But that server is not a physical machine. It is virtual. So we also have dedicated hosting. In dedicated hosting, somebody can say, okay, instead of giving me virtual server, I want it to be on a bare metal machine. Buy a server. I'll be paying for, I want to rent it for the purpose of hosting my website. So what that means is that you have a whole server that is also dedicated for your own services. So in cloud hosting, is a way of virtualizing all this in such a way that each user can actually go to the website, spin up or pay for the server, and within minutes, that server is available for him to be able to use. So cloud hosting plans. In cyber cloud, we have different hosting plans. This includes WordPress hosting. And WordPress hosting is usually used by newbies or people that are new entrants into web design. So because it's very, very easy, it's usually for content management. So if you have not designed a website before, you can start designing website today by using WordPress. Just to watch, what it requires you to do is just to watch maybe 1 hour video on WordPress, how to install it and how to start using it. It's actually very simple. So we have this plan. It doesn't mean that WordPress is not robust enough to be used for high-end businesses. So depending on your level of expertise and what you want to implement, you can actually use WordPress hosting plan. And in cyber cloud today, we have this plan. Is you just click it. As you are clicking it, it's intuitive enough to help you start it and finish it within 20 minutes. Then after installing it, you now start to buy your plugins and templates and start to maybe set up your emails and every other thing you need to do at the back end. So we also have cPanel hosting. In this hosting plan, you have cPanel embedded in your own plan in such a way that you use this application to manage your website from the back end. In cPanel, you can set up your database, install any application that is in the marketplace, and manage everything that you need to appear on your website. It also has the ability to give you some of the environments where you can program in a desired language. So Plex hosting is also like cPanel hosting. So there are some people that fancy Plex or that want Plex in lieu of cPanel. They look alike. So it depends on choice. Some people might say, okay, I don't need cPanel, I want to use Plex. So we also have that environment that will help you to use Plex to host your website. Email hosting, you can host your email, as in you buy a domain name and you're not interested in hosting a website. What you just want to use is a name that is attached to your website. For instance, if I buy a domain name julius.net.ng, or let me say my company name is Google. I want to use my email as julius@google.com. So with that domain name I bought, I'll be able to set up emails. If I have 10 people that I want to be receiving emails using that my domain name, I can configure their emails. Julius@google.com, Ifeanyi@google.com, Biola@google.com, or anything at your business name.com. So with this email hosting, you can achieve that fit. Then we also have reseller hosting. Reseller hosting is it helps you to you want to use this platform to as a business person to sell any of these products, cPanel or Plex, to your own clients. So you can do that using cPanel or Plex hosting. So with this reseller hosting, we have people that say, okay, I have 100 people that I can still render this service to. So what they do, instead of buying individual hosting plans for each of the clients, he has a way to aggregate all of them in one platform and manage all of them from that single front. So these are the basic web hosting platforms that we have. Or yes, web hosting platform that we have. Then key features. We have scalable bandwidth. Bandwidth means the amount of traffic that is hitting your website per time. So if like one of the universities in Nigeria, there was a time their traffic increased. They say, okay, move this our bandwidth from what it is to 100 Mbps. Because the traffic, the number of students, probably they just resumed or something, and activities on that website increased. So with that, a lot of people are sending requests to the website simultaneously. So what happened is it is this bandwidth that we need to scale up. Immediately we scaled it up from what it was to that 100. The website became okay again and people started viewing the website. So what we mean is that no matter what it is, okay, oh really? What it means is that no matter what your bandwidth, the bandwidth allocated to you is now, we can always make it bigger. The same thing with storage. So I've spoken about a control panel and WordPress installation. The multi-channel support. So we support all our clients because we know that support is one of the major things we need to render to our clients to make them stay. So one of those available support channels is live chat on our website. You can click on a live chat. Once you're chatting, somebody will respond to you. Then we also have phone support. On the website, you also have phone number that you can call for fast response. Then social media and email. We have different social media handles, including YouTube, Facebook, X, LinkedIn, and so many other channels through which we can offer support to our customers. We also have a knowledge base that we're developing on the platform that will help all users to actually read through and see how some of the features work. So as we are still developing that knowledge base in such a way that you may not necessarily need to call anybody, or at your spare time, you can really go there and read up things about some of the features that you can find in CyberCloud Host platform. Then we have ticketing system. This ticketing system is only visible to customers that are people that we have already onboarded into the platform. So once you're onboarded, you click on the ticket, and for anything you want to ask to reach us very fast, you generate a ticket to either our technical department or our sales department, depending on what the issue you want us to resolve is. So we have security. So SSL certificates is what SSL is, secured socket layer. At times, when you go to a website, you discover uh, at the top left side of the where you type the URL of that website, you see something that looks like a padlock. So it's an easy way to know if a particular website is secured or not. So for most sensitive environments, for instance, in our company, if I open a browser and I want to check a particular website that is not secured, our security system will warn me that this website is not secured. And if I go ahead to open it, it reports me that I'm actually exposing the company to threats. So if you have a website that is not secured, that is how most of your potential customers will be leaving your website, because they just see that warning. Immediately they see the warning, they won't even see what you are doing to start with. So This is one of the security features that SSL certificates that we also sell on Cyber Cloud Host. We offer them to our customers. We have different SSL certificates, the ones you can apply to a single domain and the ones you can apply to all your subdomains. By subdomain, what I mean is if I have julius.com, I can have support.julius.com. I can have sales.julius.com. That support and sales are different. They can be different websites. So if I'm buying a wildcard SSL certificate, one will take care of all the subdomains I have in my website. So we also have other security features like web application firewall, DDoS protection that were applied at the back end to ensure that our customers are secured. Then scalability, I've spoken about it before, is your ability to be able to upgrade from what you have today to the next level. Then ongoing support, as soon as you're onboarded, the support is ongoing, it's continuous. So you also have some avenues to reach out to us through phone call, through chats, through emails, and all that. Then we also have cloud engineers and DevOps engineers that are managing our platform at the back end. So overview of Cyber Cloud host products. Which products do we have in Cyber Cloud? The first one is domain registration and domain transfer. Domain is, your domain name is your business name that has a TLD extension. If my business name is decency, I can say I can buy decency.com or decency.org or decency.net.ng. So that's domain name. The first time you want to buy it, you have to register it. So such a thing is what you can come to Cyber Cloud Host and actually purchase it. Within few minutes, you are done with buying your domain name. It offers you the ability to search if that domain name has been purchased by some other person. If it is free, you can easily buy it. If for any reason you want to move or transfer your domain name from where you were hosting it before, where you bought it before, into our own environment, it is also very, very easy to do. So you simply come to our platform and initiate that process, and then we also assist you to complete the process. It's actually automated. So the SSL certificates, I've spoken about that before. We also have wildcard SSL certificates and the ones you can use for single domain. So I'm going to show you how you see all these things in our platform. Hosting services. I mentioned WordPress, cPanel, Plex hosting. So the choice of any of these hosting services depends on what you really want to do to implement and your level of expertise. If you know WordPress very well, then you can use WordPress. If you want to design in any other language, then you can use cPanel and Plesk hosting. It's a question of designing your website and then uploading it into any of these environments. Then I've also spoken about reseller hosting. It's for those who want to use this option as a kind of business. Hello, Mimo. Hello. Say recording stop, please. Just chat with them. Hello, can you hear me if you can? Okay, okay. Okay, then unique selling points. What do we offer our customers? Why are we standing out from other ones that deliver such services? One, just as I said before, Cyber Cloud is a cloud servicing company. So all our servers are in Tier 3 data center. What it means is that everything in those our servers are replicated in another location. There is nothing like uh, our servers are down. So that is one of the advantages we have over others. Our servers are always available. We have robust hosting infrastructure in a secure data center. We also have exceptional customer support, competitive pricing, and our platform is very easy to use. Once you go there, whatever you need to do is just very simple to see it and actually do them. Then we also have a seamless payment gateway that allows you to make payments without much hassles. So this is what our platform looks like. CyberCloud Host. The URL is cybercloudhost.net.ng. So I will stop momentarily to just show you how to navigate through our sites. Please confirm if you can still see my screen. Okay, so this is our website, cybercloudhost.net.ng. Sorry, that one is the browser. Okay, this is the website, the URL, cybercloudhost.net.ng. So once you come here, just as I said before, you want to buy a new domain name. You can say juliusduru.com and click on search. If it is transfer that you want to do, you just click on transfer and then the process starts. So it's searching for, you can see, say it's available, which means I can actually buy this domain. If you click add to cart, then that is how you follow the prompt until you buy this domain, juliusduru.com. So you can see the price there. The same thing applies to .ng, .com.ng, .net, .net.ng, and other TLDs. We have virtually all the available TLDs that you may need to buy, maybe .store or .office, anything that you want to buy, you just search for it. If for any reason it's not there, you can actually reach out to us. We'll see how we can assist you to do that. Then that is for domain name. So to register, you come here or at the home page, you can come here and register new domain. So once you click on register new domain, it gives you, why is it not opening? Okay, circles. This is capture that will ensure that you are a human being. Okay, register. Okay, so here, all your details need to be captured. Once you finish filling all this, you click on register. Then an email will be sent to you. In that email, once you click it, you are activated. Then after clicking that, with your login credentials, you can come here. You can see my account here, login. You click on login to log in, and then you see the back end. It is from that back end that you manage all the resources that have been allocated to you. That is also where you can create tickets and view your answered tickets. Then here we have hosting. You can see the list of all the hosting plans we have discussed. So anyone you want to buy, as soon as you have logged in, if you click it, then it will also show you a wizard that will help you in the buying process to know the particular plan that you want to buy and help you to complete the process. This one is also for SSL certificates. If you want to buy SSL certificate for the website you are hosting with us or the one that you are hosting elsewhere, you can actually purchase it from us and apply it on your website. So this is all about the website. Is very simple and straightforward. So other information you need, you can just create a ticket or put a call across, and somebody is always there to assist you. So, okay, that is about our platform. So security, our infrastructure is secured at the back end. Just as I said before, we have engineers who ensure that all the security softwares we need to make sure that this platform is okay for our customers are being updated and enforced per time. We also have a disaster recovery location where all our servers, everything we have in our server is being replicated so that at no point in time, there will not be any time that the customer will be saying that our server is down or something has happened and we are not able to recover from any incidents, no matter how severe it is. Then in conclusion, at times it could be difficult to know the right web hosting service or company that you may want to host your website with. So some of the things you need to check include security, support, uh, responsiveness, how fast other websites that are hosted there are. Then when you need any support from the people, how responsive are they? Can you generate a ticket? Is there anybody that will respond to that ticket? How fast do they do that? So these are some of the things you really need to check. You also have to look at your own expertise on the kind of tools you can use. If you do not know how to use cPanel very well, you can choose WordPress. If you do not know how to use WordPress very well and you're conversant with Plesk hosting, then that one you can use it. And if you encounter any problem, you can always have people to talk to. So thank you very much for your time. I don't know if there is any question. Is there any question, or do we go to the next presenter? Okay, if you have any question, you can put it on the chat box so that we can collect them and answer at the end of the session. Thank you very much. Let me call in Leko to give us a presentation on backup solution. Leko, please, are you there? Leko, you're muted though.
All right, good morning, everyone. Kindly confirm that you can hear me.
We can hear you here.
Okay, once again, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Cyber Cloud. Welcome to Cyber Cloud webinar on web as a service. I'll be taking you quickly into the world of backup in information technology, and my name is Olali Kombolarinde. So quickly we would touch on understanding data backup, and we'll be explaining the concept of backup generally, and key terminologies that are used when discussing backup, issues relating to data backup in the IT world. I'll also touch on introduction to backup as a service, which is where Cyber Cloud actually come into the picture. This is one of our offerings as a cloud service provider. So I'll be explaining the concept of backup as a service and the benefits of backup as a service. Then I'll slightly touch on our backup as a service platform and the features, use cases, and how you can benefit from that. So without taking much of our time, I'll quickly like to delve into understanding data backup. And the first question that I will be asking, or that I would like to address, is what is backup? In our day-to-day life, in our day-to-day activities, even on our mobile phones and our personal PCs, there's always a need to back up data. So data could range from pictures to music to notepads, and whatever information that is actually valuable to a person or to an organization is what we refer to as data. So backup in information technology, however, is creating a copy of a data of a computer, and keeping it or storing it somewhere, so that in the case of data loss, you are able to retrieve that data and still utilize it without costing the company or without costing the organization to lose valuable time or valuable assets or valuable or money. So yeah, I've defined backup as the process of keeping a copy of a computer data and storing it elsewhere so that it may be used to restore the original after a data loss event. So in a nutshell, it's very similar to what we do on our mobile devices or on our PCs, where we can actually just create another copy of a file and save it in iCloud, or save it in your Google Cloud or your Google Drive, or your Google Pics, just as the need may be, so that in the case you lose that data, you are not left hanging. You can easily go back to that external repository. You can easily go and fetch back that data, restore it to where its original location, and carry on your processes. So in IT world, in the banking sector, in the insurance sector, even in day-to-day businesses, you can't afford to lose data. Data are very valuable assets. Imagine in a financial sector, you lose the data of account balances of your customers. So you don't even know how much Olade Kombolande has in his account. So it's going to be a huge problem for that organization. So backup is key in the IT world of today, and there are different ways and different measures been put in place to ensure that that to mitigate data loss, as we'll see as I go on in this presentation. So there are a few key and crucial terms that will keep popping up when you are talking about backup generally that you keep hearing. And the first one is full backup. So what is full backup? Full backup is taking a copy of a data as it is in totality and keeping it elsewhere. So you use this term mostly when you are about to, configure your backup and you are about to set the type of backups, because the type of backup that should happen. So you are scheduling your backup and you are trying to specify, to tell your backup solution that this is how I want my backup to run. So you have different options to choose from. So full backup is usually the most common and usually the first type of backup that you must take, regardless of whatever backup option you want to go on with. So you have to take the total backup, the total data, a copy of it, and you have to keep it somewhere. So that's a full backup. So subsequently, you don't have to take a full backup. You can now tweak your backup schedule or your backup style and say, okay, because I've already taken a full backup initially. Now I want to take incremental backups. So now what is incremental backup? Incremental backup is taking the difference between the last time you took a backup and the current point you are taking that backup. So for instance, I'll give a quick example. If I took a backup yesterday, and I want to take another backup today. So instead of taking a full backup yesterday and taking another full backup today, which will consume so much space, and it will also increase my backup duration. That is the time taken to carry out that backup. So what I'll do is, since I have a full backup from yesterday, all I need to do is take the difference between yesterday, whatever has been added between yesterday and today. So I'll take that backup and add it to what I took yesterday. That is incremental backup. So I'll only take the increment. That is the difference between yesterday and this very point I'm taking the backup. That is what incremental backup is in a nutshell. So another key term is disaster recovery. So quite often people mistake disaster recovery, that is DR, for backup. There are two different things. So backup, like we said, is taking a copy of a particular set of data or a particular data set and keeping it in another repository in case of data loss. While disaster recovery is a site in itself. It is bigger than backup. It is replicating what you have in your production site, or replicating a set of processes, app databases, network topology, and also replicating it somewhere else, so that should, in case you have issues, or in the case of an earthquake or a natural disaster or riots, you are not able to reach your production site due to riot, due to protests, like the case is in Nigeria, you can easily go to your DR site and still carry out the functions that you normally carry out on your production site. So that is what a disaster recovery site is. It's different from a backup, because a backup is just a set of data. So you need to fetch your backup from wherever you kept it and bring it back into your environment before you can access those data. Whereas in the case of disaster recovery, you don't need to go back and fetch that data. All you need to do is go back to that site and start running. It's called failover. You can just fail over to your disaster recovery site and you start running as it is. So that brings me to data recovery. Like I said, in backup, you've saved data and you've stored it somewhere. So for you to use that data, you need to recover it. So that is what is referred to as data recovery. So it can also be called data restoration. So for you to be able to use that data, if you lose that data, you have to go back to where it is, fetch it, and restore it to its original location before you can access and use it. So that is what number 4 speaks to, data recovery. So number 5 is a very, very important term known as RTO, recovery time objective. What is your recovery time objective? Your RTO. So for every organization, you should have a recovery time objective and a recovery point objective. Your recovery time objective is the number of time that you are willing to be down in the event of a data loss or in the event of service outage. For instance, if I'm running a service, I'm offering a service to my customers, I can afford to be down for 10 minutes. That means for 10 minutes, if there is an issue, my customers won't be able to access my service. That is my recovery time objective, 10 minutes. So 10 minutes max, I must have that issue resolved. So for instance, let's say I'm offering a virtual wallet to my customers, and whereby you can transfer, you can put small money and you can transfer that money to various people. And I have a recovery time objective of 10 minutes. It means for no matter the issue that I'm encountering, in 10 minutes, if my customers are unable to carry out transfers for more than 10 minutes, then I've violated my recovery time objective. I'm not able to meet my recovery time objective. So 10 minutes max, I must be able to restore data or restore service so that customers can, so that service can continue to, my process can continue, so my customers can carry out their transactions. Then what's the recovery point objective? Recovery point objective is how much data I'm willing to let go of, how much data I'm willing to lose. So for instance, I ran into an issue. For instance, okay, let's still assume that I'm operating a virtual wallet service and I run into an issue and customers are carrying out transactions. But for some reasons, my records is not updating. So it means every transaction carried out in that window where my record is not updating is not being recorded, and I'm losing data. So I need to set a recovery point objective that I don't want to lose data for more than so time. So that's your recovery point objective. The amount of data you are willing to let go of is your recovery point objective. So you shouldn't lose data for more than so time. That's your recovery objective. If not, it becomes very, 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 very consequential for the company or for the organization. So lastly, I would like to just talk briefly on business continuity. So business continuity just takes everything I've spoken about and puts it into, it just encapsulates everything I've spoken about initially. So your business continuity is a process or a plan put in place to ensure that your business does not stop. Your business has the ability to continue. Should it encounter challenges? Should there be natural disasters? Should I have process issues? I should be able to resume business or recover, and my business should be able to continue. So recovery time objective, recovery point objective, backup, disaster recovery, all these are things that must be put in place so that your business can always continue should it encounter whatever form of challenge. So all those are they are offshoots of your business continuity plan. So moving forward, I would now like to enter backup as a service, which is where CyberCloud plays. So backup as a service is backup, basically a form of backup, also known as cloud backup, but it's a backup that is not entirely on-prem. It is not entirely managed by the user. So a third party is in play here, and that third party is the one actually serving as a bridge between you and your backup location. So it's also known as cloud backup. It's a managed third-party service where data is stored in a secure hybrid cloud or offsite cloud repository over a network connection. So like I said, a third party is serving as a bridge between you and most likely an offsite repository that is not in your environment. So, and it has minimal interference from you, the user. So you know little to nothing about the backup process. Yours is just that your files are getting backed up. That's all that concerns you. And that is where backup as a service comes in. So the concept of backup as a service, in a backup as a service model, the service provider typically should offer you these things that I've listed. So this service provider is also is what I refer to as the third party while I was defining backup as a service. So the service provider should offer you a backup solution. So a backup solution is like your backup tool, is like your transportation system. It's like the bus that is driving your data from point A to point B. So different technologies come to play when we are talking about this. There are different varieties of technologies that can be employed as your backup solutions. You have different options to choose from. So typically, your service provider should also provide you infrastructure. So infrastructure now is talking about your servers, your backup storage, your OS should typically be provided by your service provider in a backup as a service model. Management and monitoring. This is another thing that can also, or that should typically be provided by your backup as a service provider. Managing the system, monitoring, ensuring that it's all should be provided by your provider, by your service provider. Security should be provided by your provider. The platform should be secure. Scalability, that is ability to scale up as the need may be, because as data increases, there's always that need to scale up. So scalability, redundancy, and disaster recovery should be provided by your service provider. Then compliance and regulations. Compliance and regulation varies from region to region. So depending on your region, this is also a burden that will be shifted from the shoulders of the user to the shoulders of the service provider. So the service provider is tasked with providing all these offerings that I've listed here in the event of back office service. And that is why back office service is thriving. It's becoming one of the leading cloud offerings. It lifts a whole lot of burden from the shoulders of the customer to the shoulder of the service provider. So what are the benefits of back office service? In the back office service model, you have a whole lot of benefits, but here are some of it. So you shift from capex to opex. So capex is your capital expenditure, opex is your operating expenditure. So you spend more on operating expenditure as opposed to spending heavily on capex. It creates multiple level of redundancy. Yes. So having your backup in cloud, away from your premises, is another level of redundancy, because it shows that even should you have any challenge, even if your premises is raised by fire, for instance, you have your data, sitting somewhere safe and sound. So it also gives a simplified backup and recovery, process. So you have simplified backup and recovery process, minimal, like I said, minimal or even no interference from the user. Everything is simplified and everything is done by it's configured, everything is put in place by your service provider. There's less stress on the internal IT team. Yes, so that's one less thing to worry about by the internal IT team. If backup as a service is being patronized by the organization, is one less thing to worry about. So IT team can focus on more internal issues and leave backup to the service providers. Scalability. So you spend on what you are consuming. It's very scalable. So, and you can decide to increase your storage size from time to time as your funds, as much funds as you have to spare. You can decide to increase what you have, what you want to keep your retention time as the need may be. So if you want to save costs, you can reduce your retention time, have less copies of backup in cloud, and that's, a way of saving more costs. So you can scale up and scale down just as you want to. Then expertise and support. So because, the majority of the technical and, operational process of the backup has been shifted away from the internal team. So you are leaving it in the hands of experts. That's for sure. For you to be offering backup as a service, you you definitely have a bunch of experts in-house. So you're rest assured that your your backup processes are in the hands of experts, and you can also hold them responsible should anything go wrong. So you have that support. You can call them anytime, and they provide support. So those are the benefits of jumping on backup as a service, which is a very, 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 very wise decision to make in today's IT world. So why backup as a service? So this is a report that I was gotten from Cloud Protection Trend from Vim. Okay, this is supposed to be 2024. I think this is a typo. And if you look at the trend here, these are one of the leading reasons why people are patronizing backup as a service. And like I said, number one always has to be cost, just like I was describing OpEx and scalability there. So number one is the avoidance of costly hardware upgrade. That is, as technology advances, maintenance costs, that initial cost, the capital expenditure that you are able to move away from. You don't need to buy servers and storage, install softwares on certain OS, to have your backup running. You have taken that burden off your neck. So all you need to pay for is operational cost. So that is a big, 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 big benefit for organizations. So they are able to avoid costly hardware upgrades. Like we all know, IT infrastructures are not cheap. They are very, very expensive and capital intensive. So that capital expenditure, you've been able to shift it and move it to OpEx. So that's one of the leading reasons. I can see it's 36%. It's one of the leading reasons why people, patronize backup as a service. Secondly, is freeing up internal resources to focus on strategic and internal projects. So in this Jackpot era, where you have people, you have that brain drain. People are, flocking into to other clients for better lives, supposedly better lives. So there's that need to utilize the little internal resources that you have optimally. So to be a very wise decision to have them focus on more internal projects and free them the burden of, managing backup, like I said. Reduce ongoing management complexity. So having to learn backup solutions, manage interfaces, create schedules, create policies. Those are very rigorous processes that you need to, take on if you want to do backup yourself. And patronizing backup as service is another way to reduce that complexity. So another reason is senior leadership is driving a cloud-first strategy. So like I said, cloud is trendy, is the future. So a lot of leadership are driving cloud-first strategy. They are moving to cloud, both backup, both infrastructure as a service, both SDDC as a service. Generally, cloud is the future, like I said. So data offsite and survivability. Yes, this is just similar to saying you're having an extra level of redundancy. So people want their data offsite. They don't want it on-prem for that, so that they can just have that extra level of redundancy. So for that reason, they patronize backup as a service. Leveraging on experts and their technical resources, like as discussed earlier. Reduce time to implement and start up. Yes, this is a very key one. So if you imagine that you're a startup and you want to set up your backup, your in-house backup solution end to end. It's something that is going to take you months to complete from end to end. And this is something that you can have in days if you decide to patronize backup as a service. If you try to, to move to use backup as a service. So why not, instead of wait for months before you start, backing up effectively, why not just start in days? So you have a very, very reduced time to implement and to start up. So ability to be proactive instead of reactive. Reducing infrastructure footprint, having too much infrastructure in-house. which consume power, cooling, and all. Reduce costs, as mentioned, enabling offline and immutable scenarios, subscription pricing. So these are the reasons why you should patronize backup as a service. So cyber cloud backup as a service platform have different use cases. So one of the use cases is backup repository. So meaning we give you that extra level of redundancy. Say you don't want to have the old backup solution, you have your backup solution. All you just need is that offsite repository. So we can come to that level and give you that repository and nothing more. So at that level, all you have is you have an offsite backup repository, which is a very good, will give you a very good redundancy level instead of having it in-house. It's another site. So we can also give you backup solution, which means we'll give you the backup tool that drives data movement. We can implement that for you, and we'll also still give you the backup repository. So now this means we'll give you the solution, we'll give you the backup repository, but you need to still have the backup server in-house, have your people manage it in-house. We implement the solution, we deploy, then we give you backup repository. It's still backup as a service, but then it's not the complete package. So now we can also give you the complete package where you have little to minimal, almost no interference. We'll give you the backup infrastructure, we'll give you the backup solution, and we'll still give you the backup repository, everything operating offsite. So here you have nothing to worry about, like as discussed in other slides, previous slides, you have nothing to worry about. All you need to do is just monitor, or we can even send you a report monthly, bi-weekly, to show you how your backup is doing. All you need to do is just to see how your backup is doing. You have little to no interference. It's not your business how backup moves from your site to our site. You don't have a business with the backup servers. You don't have a business with any form of installation. You don't have a big business scheduling or creating policies. All that has been pushed to the service provider like CyberCloud. So just to give you an hint of what our platform looks like. So our backup as a service platform is backed by a world-leading provider of backup solutions. So which is popularly known as Veeam. So Veeam is a world-leading provider of backup, replication, and disaster recovery solution. And if you check Gartner ranking, as at 2023, Veeam is leading and has been leading consecutively for about 4 or 5 years as one of the solutions that has the ability to execute. So if you look at this axis, you can see that on top here you have Veeam as a leader and as the solution that has the highest level of ability to execute. That is the ability to get the job done. So it's Veeam. So when it comes to completeness of vision, you still also have Veeam in the leaders column. So this is what shaped our decision to go to partner with Veeam as a service provider. So our backup solution, our backup by service environment is backed by Veeam backup solution, which is very efficient and has the ability to meet your needs. So Veeam has the ability to do a whole lot, from backing up your data center, that is backing up your virtualized data center. So it has the ability to integrate with your with your VMware vSphere, back up your vCenter, and gain access to your vCenter, and even back up selected VMs. Just as you want it, it's able to customize whatever you want, you customize your need as you want it. It has that visibility, that ability to integrate and to get that visibility into your VMware vSphere platform. Same thing with your Hyper-V, your Microsoft Hyper-V platform. It can also integrate with that seamlessly. Your Nutanix, it can integrate with it seamlessly. So regardless of whatever virtualization tool you are using, Vim has the ability to integrate, and gain access into it, gain visibility into it, and back up as the need may be from the list of, VMs or that you might have created in it, whatever you need to back up. And also cuts across different OS, from your Red Hat, your Windows Server, your NAS, your Linux. It has the ability to, back it all up. And it has the ability to back up from cloud also. That is cloud to cloud. So you can back up from your AWS, back up from your Azure, your Google Cloud, IBM Cloud, VMware Cloud Director, Kubernetes. So Vim has the ability to also back up from cloud to cloud. So if your environment is a cloud platform already, you don't have no worries. You have no worries. Vim will also is able to execute backup from whatever cloud platform you are currently running on. So it also backs up endpoints. That's your PCs. You can back up your PCs. It can back up your software. So your operational softwares like your Microsoft 365, your Microsoft Teams, Salesforce, Vim is able to back up all that also, and keep your data safe for you. So leveraging this tool, we're able to do all this just as the need arises. So what are the capabilities that we have? We are able to give you a dedicated management and monitoring platform. Should you onboard with us, we'll give you a dedicated management and monitoring platform for you to monitor your backups, check out your backup. If you want to make a little bit of changes and adjustments, you can do it from that portal, which is designed for you, secured portal. You log in and you are able to monitor, edit, tweak backups, change policies as the need may be. It also has the ability to give you alarm management, which notifies you that certain backups are failing, certain backups were successful, certain are not successful. So from that alarm management, you can be nudged to take action should the need be. Defined roles and users. So that's like RBAC. On your platform, on your portal, you have the ability to create users and give them different and varying permissions, different permission levels. So you can have users that can only view and monitor. You can have users that can, edit. You can have users that can initiate backup, just as the need may be. So Vim is well able to do that. Our backup solution is well able to do that. We can automate backup for you. So if you're on board with Cyber Cloud Backup as a Service, the backup becomes automated. You don't need to go do it manually. You're able to schedule backup and fold our hands and watch the backup, schedule, take care of the rest. So you're also protected against ransomware. So in an era whereby hackers try to, gain access into your data, corrupt your data, this has also been factored in. And there are different, security measures that have been put in place, to protect against ransomware attack. So manage backup as a service. This is the point. This is where everything is managed by our in-house engineers from end to end, and you have no reason to interfere. That is the managed backup service as a service. So single platform, protect all. So we have just one platform that can protect anything you want to protect. As stated earlier, from your data centers, your virtualized SDDC, your softwares, your PCs, your different OS. One platform solves all the problem. One point of contact for all your backup solutions, for all your backup needs covered. In summary, I would like to say that backup as a service provides organization with cost-effective, reliable, and convenient solution for data protection and disaster recovery, enabling them to mitigate risk, ensure business continuity, and focus on their core objectives. As said earlier, data is gold. and you can't afford to lose certain kind of data. Very critical to business continuity. So backup as a service is here to solve that problem of of mitigating against data loss and canceling out risk, whatever risk that's associated with organization and businesses losing data. Backup as a service is here to meet your needs. And on that note, I would like to say thank you for listening and thank you for joining this webinar. We hope to hear from you, and we hope to have you on board on our Backup as a Service platform soonest. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you, Lekon, for that wonderful presentation. Thank you so much. I also want to thank our audience for paying rapt attention to the presentation. Please, we would want to usher in the last speaker. If you have questions, kindly put it on the chat so that we'll take all of them at the same time. Thank you so much, Lekon, once more. So I want to bring in the last panelist, which is Mr. Tobechukwu Ajoko. Tobechukwu is the head of technical department in Cyber Cloud. So, Mr. Tobe, please, the floor is yours now.
Thank you very much, Julius. Aliko, thank you for that wonderful detailed presentation on backup solutions from Cyber Cloud. Okay, so share my screen. Now I'll be running through the software-defined data center services from Cyber Cloud. My screen is showing. I'll share the right screen. Okay. Am I sharing this? Okay. Okay, great. I'm sharing the right screen now. All right, so welcome once again to this presentation and webinar, combined webinar for 3 great products that we have around our Cyber Cloud. Okay. All right, so I'm taking this session on software-defined data center. And as the name is, it's a data center that is projected from the software basis. And I will show that shortly after now. Okay, so I'll be, telling you about Cyber Cloud, what we've achieved in 5+ years. I'll be giving an introduction to the Cyber Cloud platform, running through the SDDC and public cloud features, doing a short walkthrough, and also hoping to answer questions from the audience. Okay, that's me. Okay, so in 6 years, Cyber Cloud has, done some groundbreaking, made some groundbreaking success in the cloud business industry of Nigeria. We've become a home, for enterprises who want to have enterprise grade platform for their environments. And this cuts across people from different industries, and I'll show that later on. We've attained certain, choice, global standards in security, business continuity, and data protection, which are basis on which we say you can trust your data and your applications to run on our platforms. We also have sound engineers and run on the coveted VMware virtualized platform. So this is just a snapshot of the industries that we serve today. We're from healthcare. Healthcare industry, carry data that is very sensitive. And if you're trusted to hold healthcare data, then you have built something right. Voice carriers are sensitive to connectivity issues. So if there's fluctuation on your connectivity, voice carriers will not sit on your platform. We have maritime. who are on the sea, and if they're going to rely on the data that you provide to navigate the seas, then you can be trusted since they are having to put their lives, on your platform, to trust your platform to provide data for them to navigate. We have contact center who also are very sensitive to fluctuations to services. We have energy distribution organizations who run 24-hour services. We have card payment service providers who have sensitive national data, who are also they're called card carrying, organizations complying to PCI DSS and other stringent standards. We have banking analytics, we have SD1, we have payment switches. So this is just a cross-section of people who have come to trust our service over the past 6 years of our existence. So just an introduction to the platform. So typically, every application today that you use publicly or use on your system runs on a computer. Those computers for enterprises are called servers. So what we did was to pick up servers with their typical enterprise size around CPU, RAM, storage, network security, and stack plenty of them up. And this is just an illustration. And virtualize with our virtualization hypervisor, which is VMware in our case. And that produced a stack of resources. Now, this stack of resources, if you look at the left and the right, you see the resemblance of what you have in your data center or your server room. A full rack with resources of storage at the bottom, RAM, CPU, which we call compute, automations and accessibility, which we call API capabilities, networks and security, which we call routing and switching, of course, firewalling, WAF, and all of that. Now, what we have in our own stack of environments, even though now virtualized, provides you the same category of resources and even more, than what you will have had in your physical standing rack with your power and cooling and other requirements. You need to have that. So essentially, when we have a customer like yours, like yourself, coming in to ask for a slice or to ask for a data center infrastructure from our platform, we essentially give that customer a slice of what we have, and the customer starts to own the same stack like we have, but smaller and more compact based on the capacity that was requested. But the same stack of data center, which is a software-defined structure right now, becomes what the customer is able to, use to build their own internal systems. So while we have a data center, which we call software-defined, the customer now has a software-defined data center as well, with all the components in it. And I'll do a walkthrough shortly after now to those components. Beyond just being, what people call cloud, everybody has cloud. What we have today is a public cloud, standard public cloud environment. And some of the features that makes an environment a good fit for public cloud is that you should have a good identity and access management for organizations to manage access rights, roles, and all those assignments that allows their staff to do their work. Ability to manage resources in the compute, which is RAM, CPU, storage, allow them to allocate and do planning. Planning in the sense that you don't want your application to be hitting 100% of your RAM on your system or your virtual machine. If that happens, it's likely that your application will start hanging or the system will freeze and stuff like that. So you're watching and you're able to manage, and tools to do this allows you to, to be a real public cloud environment. You can spin up virtual instances, or we call virtual machines. You can run containers. You can orchestrate with Kubernetes, which we have as Tanzu. You can run backup and replication, which my colleague Liko just ran through a while ago. You can also orchestrate business continuity, which is failover, recovery, and stuff like that for hybrid cloud setups. You have ability from the portal to manage networking and switching, which is very important for the card carrying, payment service providers and switches we have on our platform. These are very important areas where you can segment your LAN, present a DMZ, have a firewall and all of those requirements that enable them to secure our day-to-day transactions on their platforms. Yeah, so the firewalling and microsegmentation, load balancing for ability to create multiple servers behind a service, creating ability for the system to, possess resilience so that if you have to maintain a server, if a server is probably freezing, maybe because of some internal error, okay, your service does not fail because you have two, three, four of those servers running concurrently and providing that particular service to customers. The load balancing service allows you to do that. Then, of course, access to the system could be through different layers of VPN. Could be layer 2 or layer 3. It could be an SSL VPN, and all of these capabilities are present from the service we offer the customer on that SDDC interface. So I'll do a simple walkthrough. I'm running to make sure that we salvage some of the time and give you back some time for the day. Just 1 second. Bear with me. Okay. I'll just do this. My screen is still possible, is still visible. So I'll just oh, I'll give you a walkthrough of the platform now. And the idea is just to show you the components I've already spoken about. Is my screen still visible? Great. Okay. So let me do this. Let me just log into it. All right, so this is a test environment just to show you what the platform looks like. So this is the Cyber Cloud SDDC portal. If I step backwards a bit, I will be showing you what is actually called the SDDC cell. So this customer, which is the test environment, has allocated CPUs, allocated RAM, and storage. Essential resources for every server or virtual instance to run. If I step into it, you realize that there's already an existing virtual machine here, which is set up as a test as well. On my left banner, I have the virtual app. So virtual app represents a collection of servers that work together for a particular service. For instance, I may have a set of 3 servers, a front end, a back end app system, and a database that together work to provide a particular service. Let's say is a ticketing system. Okay, those 3 services, if they work together to provide that particular service, I might want to group them under a virtual app for uniformity of access and tagging and all of that. Okay, then of course you have the virtual machines here. The next is network. In networks, you have a couple of tools that allows communication across the virtual machines and also to the wider world. So this is a local area network, a LAN. LANs are where you connect your virtual instances to. Okay, essentially, as of today, on this LAN, there is no virtual instance connected to it. And that can change if I come back to the virtual machine here and I decide to assign him to that particular LAN. If I do that, then he starts inheriting. He becomes one of the let me try this. So this one becomes one of the instances that sits on that particular local area network. Okay, if I go back here and text here again. Okay, I didn't assign IP address to him. Let me copy this. Okay. Essentially, the environment allows you to keep every of your configurations within the system and control all the components that you would want to control within the data center. The servers themselves, the virtual instances, your networks, your LAN, your switching and your routing, as well as your firewalling can all be controlled from the same portal, which is why we call it a software-defined data center, because nothing that you want to have in your own data center or your server room is missing from the stack provided here, from CyberCloud. Just 1 second, it's powering up. So if I go back to the networks again, I will see that, yes, there's a server called test3 connected to this LAN and it's currently powered up. Okay. So if I go over to the edges, on the edge, currently this environment has only one edge assigned to it. If I step into that edge, I have services that I mentioned earlier that allows you to run firewalling. So there are firewall rules set up here for this edge to allow control over who can access and what it can access across the LAN and also to the internet. There are also capabilities to set up DHCP, to run NATing. NATing gives you ability to translate. So NAT means network address translation. Ability to translate a local IP address to a public IP address for internet-based communication. There's routing capabilities here, so you can do static routes. You can also run OSPF and BGP if I enable these components. There's a full stack load balancer here that allows us to provide multiple servers, deploying or providing a particular service to a couple of customers. We can run VPNs like IPsec tunnels, to allow customers to reach or your partners to connect to your service without having to go over the public internet. You provide a secure tunnel across a path. It could be over the public internet, or it could be over a leased circuit, but ensuring that traffic that goes through across that path is encrypted and secure from unauthorized access. And of course, certificates, you can manage certificates from here, you can group your services into objects and so on. So this allows you to gain absolute control over your service and keep your environment as healthy as possible. So as I mentioned earlier, we've gotten a couple of, what you will call high security, high risk customers who are particular about what the environment looks like, how secure it is, coming to sit and live on this environment. And this is because we provided enough tools to give them that comfort that what we have truly has the security that is required to secure their data and keep them safe. All right, so that was just a quick walkthrough of the core components to ensure that we have a glimpse of what the environment looks like. Okay, being the last speaker, you always, the only son used to always catch up from when everybody else stopped. But I'd like to take questions now. If there are any areas you feel questions could be posed, we'll be glad to answer and give you clarity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Tobe, for
Welcome.
that great presentation. So,
I'll just stop sharing.
please, I want to believe that our audience are still there. We are actually expecting questions from you. If you have any question based on any of the three solutions, you can actually ask. Except if I'm not getting any question, maybe when we get back to you through email, you can also send to us. So we'll give like 2 minutes for you to ask questions so that either to myself, to Mr. Lekon, who handle the backup as a service, or
I see a question, Julius.
yeah, you see, this cloud company has a lot to offer, and I'm sure many clients like me want to subscribe. But these days, dollars is on the high side and still growing. What's the payment method, and how is the company bridging the gap for FX? Okay, this question is coming from Olumide. So I want to take up that question. About payments, just as Mr. Lumide said, we can see how dollar has been fluctuating over time. And the beauty of having a cloud service provider like CyberCloud in Nigeria is that we stand between you and the dollars. So all our payments are in Naira. Whether you are subscribing for web hosting or backup solution or SDDC, we actually uh, take or receive payments in Naira. So, Mr. Lumide, I guess that answers your question. So you are not going to pay us in dollars. We receive payments in Naira across all our platforms. Thank you. So is there any other person that has a question so that we won't keep every other person on the call? So while we are waiting for questions, I want to express on behalf of CyberCloud, I want to express our appreciation for your time, for heeding to our quest for this webinar. And I also want to believe that you must have picked so many things. So CyberCloud, there are so many other products that we have, but this webinar is not for them. So you can also check our website, cybercloud.net.ng, to have an overview of all our services, or respond to the emails that you have received to ask us questions about any of the services that you might need as an individual or as a company. So since we are not getting any more questions, I want to bring this webinar to an end. Thank you so much and do have a great day ahead. Okay, hold on. I think there's a question too. Augustine Obong. Okay. So what is the learning curve for a cloud solution architect moving from GCP and AWS to using CyberCloud? Hello, Mr. Toby. I think this one is for you.
Okay, thank you very much, Augustine, for that question. So basically, it's a very short learning curve. The environment is so intuitive that you would know what to do next. All the components you need to work with are readily available right there before your face. And so ability to navigate. So all you're going to actually need to learn or walk through is how to navigate through the portal. But the portal is so easy to use that you will, once you have access to it, you'll find your way around it. And with the basic understanding of anything you want to do, whether it's routing, whether it's firewalling, access list, or whatever knowledge already exists, you already have, is easily transferable onto, what CyberCloud has. You don't need that long a curve to learn this environment. So basically what we do for customers who are on board on your platform is that we do what we call a hand-holding session. Because you paid us money doesn't mean we'll just run away and leave the platform for you to struggle through. What we essentially do is guide you through the first few one or two deployments you're doing, your VM, your first LAN, your first firewall rule, and all of that. And once that first time is done, we found that the customers are easy. They easily start using the system themselves. But again, if there are any concerns, if you run into any issues where the knowledge is not there, we will also jump on a call to ensure that we guide you through. Our mantra basically is to, guide or to get people to use the system freely for themselves without having to call us every time. And that makes us, drive the knowledge so that you gain that knowledge and understanding and quickly can start using by yourself. So you also asked if there's a free, do you offer free tier of offering to enable businesses test their service and see if it's works? So we have POC periods. It's called proof of concept. Basically, it is based to drive a particular value you're looking at. So we have a discussion around what you want to see, and we guide you through where you can see it, and we'll allow you to run through a period of time, depending on what is agreed. And that within that period, we are checking in on you and ensuring that you can see those values you wanted to, from the initial discussion. And that free tier allows you to, gain confidence with what the platform offers and also sign up. We've gotten a couple of customers sign up through those proof of concept periods. And that is, the experiences we had. Yeah, so there's that discussion. We can have it, and we'll offer you that testing period for you to run and see what the environment offers. Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you, Julius.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you, Augustine. So, just as Mr. Tovichu said, we'll have the time to handhold you, to show you. He did a walkthrough. So, once we receive a request from you, we can also handhold you to show you. Since you are conversant with GCP and AWS environments, they are lookalike. They are the same thing. It's just for you to know where each feature is. And that is all. Just believe me, within 30 minutes, you would have understood how the VMware environment works. So I'm going to type my email here just for others who want to actually contact me via email so that we can take your request from there. So the email is actually julius.duru@cybercloud.net.ng. So that's the email. So it's not showing. What's happening? Did it show? Did it show? Okay, okay. Yeah, so that's my email. So I've also shared the website, cybercloud.net.ng, and for web hosting, cybercloudhosts.net.ng. Thank you once again for your time and your patience. So we hope to talk to you again in future. Thank you.